You're never too old to learn new things.
I jinxed myself. Hey guys, it's Katie Kate on the Homestead. It is Thursday, June 20th, the last day of spring, and another hot day here today. I slept in this morning because my son didn't have any school, and when I woke up, there was a raccoon in my trap. I went to grab my camera to document it, and then I didn't even bother. It's just another day, another dollar around here at this point. It's crappy because I jinxed myself. Just yesterday, I was commenting that Frida's about to have chicks, and it is pretty much the 1-year anniversary of the very first raccoon attack I ever had on the homestead. A few trappings ago, I was still really rattled about having to do this, and I had mentioned wanting to get to the point where it didn't derail my whole day. Today, I really want to just stay inside and get baking, making some red currant muffins. And it certainly put a little bit of a damper on my enthusiasm to get in and start baking. The other thing I mentioned is that hopefully we'll be getting a rainstorm to break this heat, and they extended the heat warning through today. So this is day 4 of above 40-degree temperatures. And the garden's been taking a beating. You know, we went from a cool, wet, sloppy spring right into brutal heat and no rain. So it's been difficult to water. You don't want to water your garden on a really hot day like this because the cold water is going to shock the plants and stress them out even more. So I've been waiting until the sun goes down before watering the plants. I did a little walk through this morning. You know, everything seems to be doing okay, but I know that they're not growing as well as they probably could be. Here's a confession. I am a pretty terrible baker. Okay, I'm inside in the AC and I'm making a cake. I'm using some of the red currants that I picked yesterday. And I had intended to make muffins, but I couldn't find the little muffin liners, and I didn't feel like greasing a whole muffin pan, so I turned it into a cake instead. I'm not really a foodie. Food is not really my thing. I have a really basic palate. I'm a pretty good cook, but I like really basic things. I make kind of only a few dishes, and I make them really well. And again, I eat pretty simple stuff. Cooking is easier for me because I can be creative, where I can put in a dash of this or a dash of that, and it doesn't really impact the outcome in any negative way. I can customize recipes on the fly depending on how I want it to be on a certain day. So baking is not like that. Baking is very scientific. I tend to be sloppy and impatient, and I make substitutions that don't work and just ruin the whole recipe. And so on my long list of things that I really don't know how to do, baking is something that I think I really should learn to get better at. So I have been taking my garden as the ultimate motivation to use the ingredients that I am growing in recipes. And this is really a skill that I want to cultivate. This cake is looking pretty promising. I took my dead-ass time putting it together, followed all the instructions to a T, meticulously measured every ingredient, and just blocked everything else out while I focused on it. So I'm optimistic that we're actually going to get something edible and yummy. That recipe only called for 1 1/3 cup of currants, so I still have quite a bit left. Once this is done, I may dive into turning this into some jam, because I definitely want to make a couple of jars of jam for myself. that should be a pretty easy recipe, and I'll just break out my water canner because canning jam is a pretty simple thing to do. So that'll be next on my radar.
My kid just walked by and said, "Wow." It's pretty encouraging. It's looking pretty good. I told him you're never too old to learn new things and to never be embarrassed about things that you don't know how to do well.
The heat is breaking out here, and it looks like we have something rolling in from the northwest. I've got to clean my raccoon trap and get it reset. Well, there's one less raccoon on my property, and these guys are my priority. I need to keep them safe. And we have new babies coming to protect. I see a broken egg, but I don't see any chicks poking out. Right there. That's a broken egg. Yeah, that's the box that's keeping you guys all alive. There's no marshmallows for you to get today. I was asking my neighbor why I'm getting so many raccoons. I was asking him if he thought that maybe they were living in that demolished trailer, and he suggested that it's just all this bush that I'm surrounded by. The other thing is, I have a pond, and for sure, the raccoons are going to that pond looking for water. It's also full of frogs that they love to eat. So I am sure that they head to the pond, they probably hear the birds and make their way down here. It's really unfortunate. Here's the moment of truth. Come on, baby.
It's still a bit warm, but my kid has been hounding me for a piece. It looks pretty good. I think that's really good. What do you give it?
7 out of 10.
Nice.
Well, from trapping raccoons to baking cakes, all just another day on the homestead. That's my update for today. Until next time, happy, healthy living. You know who I am. Still on the homestead. I'll see you later.